Most women are not broken. For decades, we've been using a sexual response cycle designed around men and male bodies, and then wondering why women don't respond in the same way. So if you've ever wondered why you used to want sex more, or why your significant other that's a female used to want sex more and now they don't, or now you don't, then this might just change everything for you. Because the problem might not be your libido. It might be the model that you were taught. Most of us were taught a linear model of sex, going from desire, straight line to arousal, orgasm, resolution, done. Pretty simple model, straight line, very predictable. That model works fairly well for many men. But here's the issue. It does not describe how most women experience desire, especially in long-term relationships. And when women try to fit themselves into that straight line, they start thinking that something is wrong with them. So in around the early 2000s, a researcher by the name of Dr. Rosemary Basson, I hope I'm saying her name correctly. She proposed something quite different. And her model is more of a circular model of the female sexual response. It's not a straight line. It's more of a loop. And even within this loop, desire can start at different points in this loop. So here's what that, just in plain English, here's what I'm saying. For most women, desire does not always show up first, especially in long-term relationships. And I say that again because a long-term relationship is very different than a hookup. In your long-term relationship situations, especially a marriage, you tend to have, as a female, more responsibility. You're having your children, you're working, you're taking care of the household, helping with homework, cooking, cleaning, going to pick up, like it's so much going on in a long-term relationship situation. So desire doesn't always show up first. Sometimes it goes from emotional connection, which leads to a willingness. Then that may lead to arousal, and arousal may then lead to desire, but not the other way around. Desire can come after stimulation has already begun. So it's responsive. I mean, it is responsive. It's not like a defective thing. It's responsive. So that means that a woman may not wake up wanting to have sex. She just might not. But she may become interested once she feels safe, once she's feeling more connected, once she's relaxed, and when the experience is positive. That emotional satisfaction will then feed back into the relationship, which can increase more openness the next time. So you have, again, it's circular. It's more relational than being context driven. So the sexual response cycle for the female, it's not mechanical. So let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer here, but it's something that I just want you to think about. Have you ever thought that, your desire was just gone and it wasn't coming back? Like when it really just might need the right conditions. I want you to think about something else. Have you ever kind of felt like you were just at a neutral state? You didn't want it, did not want it, just kind of neutral. And then once things started to slow down for you a bit, you realized that you actually wanted intimacy. Like not pressure, not performance, but once you felt relaxed. So that is what I mean by responsive desire. So let's talk a minute about the female anatomy, just a little bit. So the clitoris contains over 8,000 nerve endings, 8,000 of them. And they found that the clitoris is actually the only human organ designed exclusively for just pleasure. So I don't think that that was an accidental design. Not with 8,000 of these nerve endings, not with its function or design being for pleasure. But here's the thing that many people do not realize, and that is that arousal for women is deeply connected to emotional safety. It's contextual, it is relational, it's environmental, which means foreplay for a woman is not optional. It is neurological. Connection is not sentimental, it is a part of biology. Because if that clitoris is so 8,000 nerve endings, she should want it all the time. So, what is causing the issue? So, I want us to think about that. Again, it is relational. Now, let's add something a little bit more powerful also to this conversation. So, there's another model that I absolutely love. Like when I found this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. So this is called the dual control model. And so dual, two things, staying balanced. Let's get into it. So let's think about this sexual system like a car. And with a car, you have a gas or your accelerator, and then you have the brakes. And so the accelerator in this system is going to respond to things like attraction. That's a go. You're driving. Touch, feeling desired, emotional safety, novelty, things that are new, being playful. All of those things are a go. You hitting the gas. And you are going. Let me add to emotional safety. I get a lot of questions about the safety piece. And this is when, we can talk to you. Things are safe. We aren't having many issues with trust or resentment. We have good emotional maturity going on and we feel safe. The brakes, now this is a stop. When you hit the brakes, the things stop. You're not going anymore. That's a stop. You're at the red light. This is stress. It looks like resentment. So if you're dealing with resentment, that's not emotional safety. Pressure, broken trust. Again, that's not emotional safety. Emotional disconnection, exhaustion. You see this again a lot in your long-term relationships because so much is going on within this household. Feeling unseen, performance anxiety. So, accelerator, brakes. What's going on? Here's the key. For many women, the brakes are more sensitive than the gas. So once we have that hard stop, it's hard to get off that brake and get the gas back going. So even if that attraction is present, if stress is high, if there is unresolved resentment, that means I'm not feeling emotionally safe. If emotional safety is shaky because of broken trust, resentment, exhaustion, the brakes will override the accelerator every single time. And arousal does not activate. That's not an example of low libido. We don't have a dysfunction going on here with the female sexual response system. That is simply an active inhibition. And in relationships where your trust has been damaged, even just a little, the body goes into protective mode. The body is doing its job. It does not respond erotically in environments that feel unsafe, even if love is there. This is exactly why a woman can say, I love you, feel strong love for you, be in love with you, and still not want to have sex with you, and still not want sex, because love does not override the brakes. Safety does. Repair does. Emotional presence does. When couples don't understand these models, they can fall into very, very painful cycles. He initiates, she feels pressure, then that pressure creates even more stress on top of the stress, maybe from her job, from the kids, from keeping the household in order. Stress then shuts down the arousal. He begins to feel rejected. She feels broken. And that cycle just continues to loop. But if we shift our understanding from what's wrong with her to what conditions allow desire to grow, then everything can change. So I'm curious, what presses your brakes the hardest right now? And you don't have to answer here, but I just want you to really think about this and notice what's been going on in your body. What brakes are being pressed? Is it stress? Is it resentment? Is it feeling alone in the relationship? Is there some form of trust that's been broken? Just sit with it. Just notice it. If desire feels complicated, it doesn't mean that you're broken. It means that your system is intelligent, highly intelligent, and doing its job. The goal isn't to force that desire. The goal is to reduce the brakes and create the conditions where it can grow naturally. That's very different from fixing your libido. It's about building safety, reducing pressure, and restoring the connection in your relationship. I want you to remember that desire is not a switch. It is a system, and systems respond to safety, to repair. They respond to curiosity, to emotional presence. This is why desire isn't restored through pressure. It is restored through that environment. And this is also why intimacy conversations must be honest, not about blaming, it's not about shaming, but it's about understanding so that we can begin to ease up off those brakes some so that we can get the accelerator going. If you've ever wondered what happened to my desire, maybe nothing happened to it. Maybe it's waiting for the right conditions. Stay close. This month, we're talking about women's desire, and we're going to be talking about that honestly, respectfully, and intelligently. If you have questions, feel free to drop them. If I know it, we're going to have conversation about it. I'll look it up, find out that information for both of us, for all of us. And if this conversation helped you, the full series continues right here. I'll see you in the next one.